As an S-Corp owner, you're required by law to issue yourself a salary. So in this video, I'll show you how to do it using Gusto. Let's go. Below in the comments and also in description, you can find a link to referral to Gusto, so you can get a discount, and I also will get a referral fee. So I suggest using that, or you can just go to the website and just sign up by yourself. So let's start. Alright guys, so after you open the link that I have below the window, you'll have this screen. So you can sign up using my link or choose not to. So you'll get some bonus and I might get some bonus for you signing up. So it works for everybody. So anyway, so this is how it looks like. And now we go under create account. And you can sign up with add your company to your Gusto. So for me, it looks like I already have an account because I do, but for you, you should create a company. So you can add it right here. So for example, edit my name, company name, and number of employees, set up your password. The next thing you have to do is to go and check your email and confirm your email, right? So that should be done. And now we're starting with the setup. So once you confirm your email, your screen gonna look like that, right? So we have to set up your account with Gusto to run this one-time annual salary. And I explained why you need to run one-time salary as an S-Corp owner. So this one will ask you, who is the company planning to pay for Gusto? So in your case, in my case, and if you're one person S-Corp owner or your client is, it will be myself. And I'm just going to go through all the options just to see what else we can do with Gusto. So we can pay employees in US. So you can set, if you do have other employees, you can set them up. Non-employees in US if you would like to. Contractors in US if that's something you want, but I mean it just really depends how big your company is, because I think Gusto will charge you extra for all this kind of stuff. So me personally, I would just choose myself or employees in US because those things are more complex and that's something we need payroll company for. Now we will start with create your company profile. So it's going to ask us if we use any other online payroll software. So maybe it has some kind of integrations that we can transfer data here. Or we do it manually. So for us, for majority of people who are doing it for the first time, we run a new payroll, right? So, all right. So is your company registered as employee with IRS? So it means if you have this EIN number. So in order to officially run a payroll and pay Medicare, Social Security tax, you have to officially be registered with IRS and get EIN. So for US person to get EIN for their company and register with IRS takes like 1 minute. So you can go to IRS website, get that EIN, and then you can run a payroll if you want to. Is your company? So yes, it should be yes, because you won't be able to run the payroll. Do you have a company bank account? So yes, so they can get your information. If you don't have it, you can use, you should have your company's bank account, right? If you have a company, but I think you can be able to add probably your personal bank account as well, but I don't see why you wouldn't open the separate bank account for a company. So yes. Which state do you work? So this is important because the whole idea of payroll company, of using the payroll service, is to make sure we pay all the state withholdings for you and your employees. So state withholdings will go after we choose the state. So for me, my business is registered in Florida and I'm doing business in Florida. So I choose Florida. Florida doesn't have state withholdings, but if you're in any other states, you will have. Certain states, you have to go to the website and register with the state to run a payroll. For example, California, you have to go to California EDD, register, because you'll need to have that number. But for now, let's just focus on like running the payroll in general, but pay attention to your states, and Gusto will tell you in the end what you have to do. Do you have an accountant, a business? So yeah, you can add it. So basically, why is they're asking you? Because you can send them like emails, so they can be added to your account and review your payrolls. But in this case, we'll just go with no, I don't, because we're doing it myself, right? What industry? So we can just use any industry. So for me, for example, it's tax preparation services.
Is your company? No. Why? Because I think it's, yes, they have some limitations, so you make sure you answer those questions. And let's go create your company. Does anyone in your company need to track hours? So sometimes, so basically why they ask you all these additional questions, because I think Gusto wants to pre-sell you all the additional services they have. So tracking hours might be good if you do have employees, but if you're like one owner S-Corp, you don't have to do that. Desire first day of the payroll. So I'm going to use whichever available right here is the next day, because I want to do a payroll once a year in December for myself, right? So now it's offering me the Gusto plan. So it's offering me this $40 a month with, if I need to add somebody else, I can. So I would just go to edit and see what other, yeah, so it's actually telling me it's a simple plan because that is right for you. If it gives you a different options, you can go to where I went, so you can kind of take a look and change the plans. But to run a payroll, I would recommend to have this simple plan, and that's what it's chose for me, right? And for the due today, no credit card. Okay, sounds good. So start with this package. So you, in this step, you'll just use a package. If you have more employees, maybe choose a bigger package, but that should be enough. Alrighty, so we'll start with adding payroll details. So I'll add the phone number, the mailing address. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll switch to federal tax ID number. So next step, I'm just gonna go through all of them and explain what we have to do. And after I fill them up myself, I'll explain what the next step is. So phone number, mailing address of the company, because I think they will e-file everything, but also they'll mail you some information for tax purposes. So make sure to add your mailing address. Next one will be federal tax ID number. So here we need to add EIN number, right? So it will be in this format. And what business is your business? What kind of entity type? So majority of the time, and I think this video, majority of S-Corp owners would watch. So S-Corp, what is the legal name of the company? What federal filing form did IRS assign to your company? For companies that file each quarter, choose option if you see once a year. So this thing, so you can look it up, you can go back to your registration documents and take a look what they chose, right? For what IRS assigned for you. But I would just choose most common because I think this is what they choose. And I'm going to show you the IRS forms that you should have received when you register your organization. But with things that you're not sure about, I would just choose most common. And honestly, this is really not making a huge difference. Filing address. What address have for your company? So this will be the filing address that IRS has with your company, right? Filing address. So I would just go back to when you created your EIN and add that filing address. Here we'll have to link the bank account. So it has a couple options. And they recommend to do it with this think plate. Or do it manually. Manually, it means you'll have to log in to provide them routing and account information, and this will take 1 to 2 business days for them to send you like a small amount for you to verify amount. So I would still recommend this plate things because you'll connect in a couple of minutes. So all you have to do, you just kind of enter your bank information login info, and it's supposed to connect your bank info very quickly. Pay schedule. So for pay schedule, let's try to set it up. So basically, because we're paying once a year, in the end of the year, annual year-end salary, just to cover expenses and requirement as an S-Corp. So this guy, it kind of shows us what they would recommend. So I would go under Edit Pay Schedule, and pay frequency, I would choose annually. Then the first month will be December 21st, and first pay date will be, I guess, first pay date will be whichever we chose. So I think I chose Monday 23rd. And here we have pay periods that will set it up for ourselves as an annual. So we'll just press save. And here we kind of like have our summary where it's gonna do, right? So here's a payday. Work was done from January to December. It's an annual, and pay days, I guess, December 23rd. So next year, it's going to remind you to do a payroll. And then when we switch to signatory, it just will have to, are you authorized to sign government forms? Yes. So as an S-Corp owner, you should be authorized to sign your company's payroll reports, right? So we'll have to add here as a staff, or you can appoint somebody else, but I guess like as S-Corp owner, that should be you. So we'll start with the title, the owner, birthday, phone number, social security, your address, the same as in government IT, and we'll just continue. And after that, you'll have to sign certain forms. So let me go through all these pages, and I'll just mention if I come up into any difficulties, I'll just make sure to add a quick note on that, and I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, so now I have it all set up. It only took me like 2 minutes to fill everything up. I also added my bank account. I connected to my Chase business account, so it was very easy. So now I need to add the employee, right, numbers. And here we have Paint Yourself and S-Corp. They kind of have like reasonable salary article if you would like to read. But for simplicity of this lesson or video, I'll just add like a basic 10,000 compensation. So it's easier to show you the math when we calculate Social Security and Medicare in the next video. Here it's going to ask us if the salary, no overtime. So usually for a business owner, you should choose salary, no overtime. But the problem is here, when you do that, it kind of doesn't let us go to another screen, because they say if it's under 35,000 that you should be eligible for overtime. So if you run a payroll less than 35K, I would just choose salary eligible for overtime, and you can add overtime if you want to, right? Doesn't really make a huge difference, to be honest. All right, so for simplicity purpose, like I said, I'm going to use this amount would be easy to show Medicare and Social Security as a percentage. Here it is asking us if we're 2% shareholder, which we are because we're 100% S-Corp owner. But also doesn't influence the payroll or anything. I just think they want to pre-sell us some health insurance. And here, do you have any tax exempt status? You can have some. So for example, as owner, you technically, unless you have an S-Corp, you don't have to issue yourself a salary if you don't make enough. But so yeah, we just choose yes as an owner, corporate officer, I guess, but also doesn't make a huge difference. Those are optional questions. So next one will be to put Social Security, birthday, and home address. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll switch to tax selection and payment. All right, see you in a bit. So after you filled up your employee information, which is your information, we go to the tax election. So it's going to ask us if you have any special tax exemptions, which majority of people wouldn't have any, right? So we're just going to do, we wouldn't choose any. Then we'll have federal tax withholdings. So I think this is required, I guess. It's required if you would like to, it's just kind of like, you fill up your filing status, and then you go to California filing status as the same if you need to file in California, and then for Florida tax withholding, if it's a new employee, so we can choose them to file a state new hire report for us, or knows that I have already filed it. So those kind of things are important as well, right? So let's switch to the next page now. So after you filled up the tax selections, so you need to fill up the ones are mandatory, the ones are optional, not important for us. So here is the payment method. Because we are paying as an S-Corp, we don't want physically to move money from business to individual, right? Because as an owners, we do like withdrawals anytime we want from the business, and or whatever your period is. So I would recommend to do this a check. So basically it tells us that we're gonna write ourselves a check, which we're not going to do it, because the idea why we're doing all this stuff, not to receive money from business that's already ours, right, move to another account, but to pay Social Security, Medicare, federal and state taxes if you want. So we need to choose check for paying a salary for ourselves. And if this is confusing, please comment below. I'll try to explain it. So after we're done, will be the last step. It's gonna say that we're gonna they will file a report for us, and we'll be ready to file the salary in a couple days. So let's see what else is asking. So this is related to Florida only. Do you already have with the Florida? So no. So they will have to register this, and I have to play like unemployment rate, right? So, okay, we'll email you the options to get registered. You can start before you register with the state. Okay, got it. So I have to go and register myself with the state, which is the same for every state. So if you're California, Florida, New York, you have to go to that state and register as employer, so you can run the salary. So this is something I will do, and they will email me instructions, because this is my first time running payroll. Like this is example I'm trying to say. Here we need to sign forms that authorizing Gusto to debit credit bank account for taxes. So we're just going to do that, right? So after, let me just see if I can just type my name. And yep, and then I have to sign. This is perfect. This is so easy. Love it. And I'm really happy for S-Corp owners. You have to do it just once a year, which is amazing. All right, so now let's see. Usually it says it takes 2 days, and it's kind of just tells me more stuff I have to do, but basically we're reviewing their account. So in 1 day I'm going to receive it, but I also need to register with my state. So that's something important to do. All right, guys, so this is registration. We're going to be improved in a day or 2, and we can run our payroll. So please watch out for my next video, how to actually run the payroll in Gusto. Thank you so much. Please comment below if you have any questions, or if you like this video. See you in the next video. Alrighty guys, so only like 20 minutes passed after I created the account for Gusto, and you can see my previous video how to set up Gusto. I got this email that I'm ready to run payroll, which I was super excited because I was supposed to wait a couple days. So when I logged in, I'm able to go into run payroll, and it's right here. I can see that I can run payroll for a full year for myself. As I did say in my previous email, I chose 10,000 just for make it easier to for calculations, to show that I would pay myself $10,000, right? So we would choose employee. Important is to make sure we have the payment type check right here, and you can watch my previous video on setting up the payroll. Because we are S-Corp owner, we don't want like physically move money from our bank account to personal, because we're taking draws from that bank account throughout the years, right? So the purpose of this is to satisfy the requirement for S-Corp to issue salary, because you have to as a business owner, and for that to pay Medicare, Social Security, federal taxes, and state if you want. So now I just pressed review summary, so I can review the summary for the payroll. And right here it will tell me that this amount will be withdrawn from my account. So what it means, I'm going to show you the tax breakdown. So basically I'm paying myself $10,000 plus taxes. So I'm paying myself $10,000, and then I pay taxes to the government. So taxes consist of a couple of things. That is a federal tax if I want to pay. I decided not to pay federal tax right now. I'll do it in the end of the year. This is just my decision, but if you want, you can add federal taxes. But we do mandatory when issue salary, we need to pay Social Security tax, which we know 6.2%. So 6.2% out of 10,000 will be 620. So this will be employee portion. This is the company portion. And the same for Medicare tax is 1.45. 145, 1.4%. I'm sorry, I've just been recording videos all day. So this is Medicare, also employee and company, and here's the company pays also unemployment tax, and also it pays, for in my case, Florida state unemployment tax. So that's kind of, this is portion for employee, this is portion for company, and the total amount is $17.61. So when I choose to submit a payroll, so it will tell me, will show up on my W-2 eventually, but this is how much will be withdrawn from my bank account and will tell me the date. So by doing this, I will satisfy the requirement for S-Corp to issue salaries. Then my company and Gusto can do that. Will issue me W-2 that I can use for my personal taxes, right? And we can use it when we file a tax return. So that's kind of it. I hope that makes sense. So let's see. I'm not gonna like submit payroll just now, but yeah, so this is kind of like when we confirm that this is what we want to do, right? And we chose that we'll mail check to myself, which we don't have to do, but that's an idea. We pay taxes and we technically mail checks for ourselves, but I paid myself this anyways. So I'm just gonna go and finalize the payment, but congratulations on your year-end salary, issuing salary. Let me know if you have any questions. Goodbye.
So I hope all this makes sense and you're ready to issue the payroll right now. Just a reminder about referral link below, so both you and I can receive some discounts or referral fee. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.